Revolutionary salute, top of the morning. Okay, my name is Malik Alim. I'm the chairman of the New Estate chapter of the Noble Younglos Party. And this is the Under Lock and Key, presented by the Noble Younglos Party. And I'm just going to read a few articles in regards to community organizing, prison organizing, and redirecting the gangster mentality. I'll just hit little highlight points. Okay, so it's called, we're gonna go from, all right, gleaning from bourgeoisie psychology of our own strength. This issue of Under Lock and Key is devoted to exploring tactics and organizing behind bars. We often hear how hard it is to get people interested in politics, how so many are just doing their time, or worse, getting high, collaborating with the COs, or promoting the vision amongst prisoners. But we also hear from comrades about organizing success. We can all learn from our own failures and success, and also from other people's failures and success. The scientific process of learning from practice and using those lessons to improve our practice is key to moving our organizing work forward. Marxism is based in this science that we call dialectics. Often people talk about it in the context of deep political line, but political line is only useful if it can direct a successful political practice. And so, as we spread revolutionary ideas and organize against the criminal injustice system, we need to pay attention to what works and what doesn't, both for us and for others, and then apply these lessons to improving our own work. Without dialectics, the revolutionary movement will stagnate. With dialectics, we will continue to learn and grow. In a few articles in this issue, we highlight the work of a psychologist, Angela Duckworth, who has conducted and compiled studies of how to engage and inspire people in work and how to build expertise. Although they write about this subject from the perspective of mastering bourgeoisie work or hobbies, we find some of the techniques and information presented to be directly applicable to revolutionary organizing. We learn from scientific studies like those presented by Duckworth, along with our own practice to grow and improve our work. Duckworth is an interesting psychologist because their work focuses on measuring what they call personal qualities or traits, but their work also demonstrates that these traits of a person can and do change over time, and individuals and society can have an impact on developing desired qualities. We agree with Duckworth on this assessment of the ability of people to change and grow through both their own work and external forces. In their more recent works, Duckworth clearly agrees product of education and training than inherent in one's personality. Duckworth's writing is instructive as we look for ways to improve our own dedication and effectiveness, and ways to better inspire others. Long maintained that the field of psychology under imperialism is generally used to help people adjust to their oppression and adapt to the horrible culture of imperialist patriarchy. It is a counter-revolutionary weapon when used in this way. Further, bourgeoisie psychology often attributes behavior to an inherent traits instead of material circumstances and conditions, suggesting that humans can't change. We don't have the ability to run truly scientific experiments on human nature, but we have a lot of evidence from revolutionary societies like the Soviet Union under Lenin and Stalin, and communist China under Mao, to suggest that humans have a tremendous capacity to learn and grow and overcome self-individualism. Instead of seeing the selfishness and individualism in capitalist culture as reasons that humanity will always have oppression and suffering, we see it as evidence of the importance of a cultural revolution under socialism. The concept was executed on a mass scale in China under Mao. The Cultural Revolution recognizes the need for the people to vigilantly fight against reactionary culture and capitalist ideas, even after the proletariat controls the government, because capitalist culture and individualism will not disappear overnight. Of course, in the end, individualism and self-interest run out in those countries when capitalism was restored. But this doesn't negate the very real changes that so many people made in revolutionary societies. We look to these examples as hopeful evidence while studying them. while studying them for improvements needed for better success in the future. There are people in the fields of psychiatry, medical doctors, and psychology, non medical doctors, who have taken their study of humans in a revolutionary direction, contributing to the anti imperialist movement. Franz Fanon is an excellent example of a revolutionary psychiatrist. Among their revolutionary work, Fanon's scientific study contributed greatly to our understanding of the effects of colonial subjugation on the oppressed, and the broader study of the lumpen, Duckworth, is not revolutionary or anti-capitalist or anti-American, and they is still mirrored in some of the pitfalls in the field of capitalist psychology. But their research presents some useful concepts and techniques for revolutionary organizing work. In this spirit of scientific learning, we touch on Duckworth's work and the underlock key. Now, I'll see if I get another one for you. Let me see. All right. This one's called Notes on Advancing the Struggle Inside, Organizing. Within prisons, we find ourselves confronted with multiple obstacles to organizing efforts. Obstacles spanning from, and mind you, this applies from in prison and outside prison. Let me start from the top. Within prisons, we find ourselves confronted with multiple obstacles to organizing efforts. Obstacles spanning from legal and material to psychological and physical. Before we can even engage in political activities, we must confront these various roadblocks, what I call walls, barriers against activism and organizing. Psychological walls manifest in two primary ways. One is the lack of receptivity in conversation. Two, perspectives of hopelessness. For prisoner activists, these are Goliathan problems. In the first instance, you find yourself talking to a brick wall. In the second, your points may be acknowledged as valid but still dismissed as useless opposition. A most frustrating situation because one, your words cannot make an impression. Two, your arguments prove valid but produce no effect. In both cases, real victories, real demonstrations, proving the validity of arguments and feasibility of proposed actions is the surest method of overcoming such obstacles. In the former, a prisoner sees the validity. In the latter, a prisoner gains motivation. Even a small victory, a granted grievance, are capable of advancing organization efforts to be heard and considered. Material walls are next formidable in line, including almost every privilege extended to a prisoner and their financial security. Following capitalist society, prisons use these privileges and financial control to maintain leverage over prisoners' behavior and thought. Furthermore, as most prisoners are stuck in parasitic thinking and pursuit of a capitalistic existence, such advantage creates a strong disinclination towards jeopardizing them, even if it is in their best interest. As with capitalism in general, there is no convenient nor easy answer that can be applied with certainty. All prisoners' privileges and financial interests intensify identification with classism, antagonistic, and capitalist priorities. Considering this, no general rules of approach can be established as each interest influence differs. Fortunately, every answer that can be applied can be approached on first an individual, then group or demographic level, expanding in concentric circles. Legal and physical walls are less conspicuous. Most prisoners view political activity as futile. Still, once activism gains momentum and organizing becomes realistic, these last walls spring up. Within prisons, these signify various administrative conveniences: ACSAC, SHU, MCU, punitive segregation, out-of-state transfer, and varied movement, privilege, property, financial, communication restrictions, or other arbitrary sanctions. Outside of prisons, many courts conspire to create so many legal formalities, exorbitant fees, Byzantine procedures, and lopsided laws that most trained lawyers are bemused and at a loss. For the prisoner who does survive such a crucible, pride is only the beginning of the prize. All of these many walls contribute to primary, secondary, and such obstacles to organization behind bars, and this also can be applied outside of prison as well. These difficulties should not be taken as reasons to dissuade political action, but rather as motivation to pursue these endeavors. Why else would there be so many protective measures if activism and organizing were indeed useless? Once the prisoner understands their interests in a manner, these insurmountable walls become merely constant annoyance necessary for progress and material dialectical process. Nothing worthy of having ever comes easy. With greater obstacles comes a greater and more valuable prize. Rise to such challenge, allowing your hunger for real quality to increase along as much as difficulties face, if not more so. Alright, I'm going to close out with that. It says, alright, for a lot of comrades in prisons that want to contribute to the Underlocking Key, or people who's listening that want to contribute to the Underlocking Key, this is a statement from the Underlocking Key. It says, on objective reporting, Underlocking Key relies on the comrades behind bars to report on conditions and events inside prisons. We track the history and reliability of our writers, and then, when possible, we double-check facts in the articles. But there will always be some facts we cannot verify before printing. Our readers are encouraged to let us know if they have information that contradicts what they see in Underlocked Key. Yet, recognize that no matter how much the bourgeoisie tries to pretend, reporting is never completely objective or devoid of political content. Mindless International Ministry will always report from the perspective of the international proletariat and the issues that best serves their interests. Peace. One Lord, one people, stay noble. My name is Malik Alim. I am the chairman of the Noble Young. I am the chairman of the New York State chapter of the Noble Young Lords Party. I greet y'all in the universal greetings of peace in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Boricua power, black pride, brown pride, power to all people, power to the people. Revolutionary salute. One Lord, one people, stay noble. It's all about nobility, baby.